Under 12 hours now from the opening ceremonies for the Tokyo Games. We plan to be talking to our Matt Renew in Japan, but you know, plans change. So, Matt Renew, we will talk about that in just a moment. First, though, you want to tell us about a company in Denver that's quietly had a hand in shaping what we will see in Tokyo.
You're right, Kyle. This is a pretty cool company. Populous in downtown Denver. They have had a role in the design of some of the most iconic venues and stadiums around Denver, from Ball Arena to obviously Coors Field. I got to tell you, these guys, when it comes to architecture, they got some credentials. Look at that right there. And that's because in Tokyo, they had a hand in the layout and design of the games.
Inside the Tokyo Olympic weightlifting venue,
I'm very excited about the Olympics.
Megan Lux has been helping with the heavy lifting of hosting an Olympic Games.
Here with Populous Japan, working on the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games.
As an architect with Denver-based Populous, Megan and his company.
Here in Denver, what we would like to focus on is not only the architectural side, but major event planning. So we'll plan events such as Olympics.
Have had a hand in the design of every one of the Olympic venues here.
Yes, we have touched all 42 of the competition venues.
Focusing a lot more effort on temporary venues like volleyball.
It's a 100% temporary venue. We'll help design that entire venue ground up.
And those used in brand new Olympic sports.
3-on-3 basketball, sport climbing, skateboarding, surfing.
Unlike past Olympics,
starting with Tokyo, there's not an Olympic park per se. The city itself is the park.
Tokyo won't have an Olympic park, which is a new cost-cutting model for other cities getting ready to host their own Summer Olympics.
The International Olympic Committee really wants the cities to use their existing assets,
with a push to use temporary venues or sites that have already been built.
There's great opportunity to really take advantage of that and make the Olympics as sustainable as possible.
Like the Glass International Forum weightlifting venue in Tokyo.
One of the premier venues here for Tokyo.
That Megan says should look good on camera and keep Olympic fans pumped while watching the games.
So this is an absolutely gorgeous venue.
A lot of work went into those venues, and while there isn't a Olympic park per se that these architects and designers have put together out there, there is an area, a cluster where a lot of venues are on the island of Odaiba, which is right next to Tokyo. A lot of the venues are there, and that's where we're going to see a lot of the television coverage from these Olympic Games. A lot of the temporary venues there designed specifically to showcase that Tokyo skyline and look good on TV, which is more important than ever now, given that no fans can be at the Olympics, and we're all going to be watching on TV. So, Kyle, in just a short time, opening ceremony, we're going to see how those venues measure up.
Oh, look at you. See, you wouldn't have been able to do that in Tokyo, Matt. You wouldn't have been able to take that in your luggage. No. They restrict you to that one tiny carry-on. Yeah. I got to ask you, though. So, I mean, obviously, your plan was to go to Tokyo. You'd been there to do preview stories. If you had gone this year and our parent company decided not to send people, it would have been a very different reporting experience than what you've delivered for us from a bunch of other games.
You're absolutely right, Kyle. And there was a lot of thought that went into it, whether we would go or not, and a lot of discussion. Part of it were the restrictions on the media, because there are so many days of quarantine that you have to stay in a hotel or at your workspace, and then you really just can't get out and see the countryside like we've done at so many Olympics. And at this Olympics, you really wouldn't want to do that, which is the other discussion we had. Majority of the population there are against the Olympics right now because they're worried that COVID will spread. And then there's obviously a fourth state of emergency there. And so all of that went into our discussion to not go. And then we've decided that if fans and family of these athletes can't go, that maybe we just stay in Colorado and we'd cover a lot of their stories and try things a little bit different. And it got me on next. So, Kyle, I think it's well worth it.
Well, we look forward to having you quite frequently over the next couple of weeks, telling lots of Colorado-connected Olympic stories just from our home base here. Matt Renew, we'll see you soon.